Dr. Dinesh Dayma is an assistant professor at Campus Law Center, University of Delhi. Before joining the University of Delhi, he worked as an assistant professor of law at National Law University and Judicial Academy, Assam. He holds Bachelor of Laws from Gujarat National Law University, Gandhinagar, and Master of Laws from National Law School of India University, Bangalore. He was awarded his PhD in area of cyber law at NLSIU, Bangalore. His areas of interest include information technology, cyber law, industrial law, intellectual property law, ADR, and law of corporate finance and security regulations. He continues to write in the areas of information technology law, cybercrime, and intellectual property law. He has participated and presented several research papers in international and national seminars. Apart from his academic responsibilities, he was actively involved in administrative responsibility as member of placement and internship committee, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, member of Student Union Election Committee at Campus Law Center, and member of Attendance Committee at Campus Law Center in the year 2019 and 20. I welcome you, sir, and now I hand over the opportunity to deliver your lecture to the audience.
Very good morning to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Very good morning to all of you. And this is your fourth day of your International Social Promotion Program. Yeah, I think it is clear. So, as my introductory part, it is already been given by the Muskan, and thank you so much for having me here for the today's session. In today's session, I am going to be deal with the role of artificial intelligence in the legal research. I'm sharing. I'm not able to sharing my PPT. Please, could you please help me out? Okay. So, as you've seen, the topic of today's discussions, today's session is with regarding to role of artificial intelligence in the legal research. Before I directly jumping on this particular issue, please look back in your daily life. If I ask you a few questions with regarding to how many of you are having, the your smart devices, including your laptop and tablet and etc. etc. If I take your mobile phone or your laptop for the 1 days or 1 hours, you might be not comfortable with that. Sir, this is not a good idea to keeping my mobile phone for 1 day. The, with the advancement of the technological developments in human life, such as accessing the certain kind of the information, reading the certain kind of the information, these are the part of each and everyday life. Remember, we have our Nokia handset where we only have one mobile game, which is the snakes game. And we used to do whole day with regarding to this particular game. Now look at this today's smartphone and development of the information technology. These technological have certain kind of the advancement and certain kind of the disadvantages also. If it talks about the advancement, I give you one example that will be very, very clear about that, how much information technological developments are very important and integral part of our daily life. One of the important example I used to give in the various seminars and the lectures with regarding to an artificial intelligence. I hope you've seen the Siri and Alexa. Siri and Alexa, it is a software developments on the basis of the algorithm, and they collect your voice and according to your voice, there certain calculations are done, and the result of these calculations, your song will be played, your contact is supposed to be, they will be called to someone others, and they also do certain kind of weather informations, which way is shorter, which way is longer, which in which way do you have heavy traffic, etc., etc. So this is the example which talks about how the information technological developments are happens and how we are used to of this particular technology developments. In the field of the law, if I say, under this particular legal developments, there's a various challenges which we are having. If we say that before the information technological developments or Information Technology Act 2000 came into India, we are the part of the unilateral model law on e-commerce. And e-commerce is one of the important regulations which is developed by the US, and it is a part of the TRIPS organization, such as under Article 34 and Article 36 of the international treaty. And India is become a part of this particular treaty, and we also signed a unilateral model law on e-commerce. This is the first legislation which is talks about. This is the first legislation which talks about how the law supposed to be developed and how the legal developments are took place. Following the footing of the unilateral model law on e-commerce, the various countries, including the US legislations and the UK legislation, they also accept that the e-contract and where the transactions are done on the websites. What are the legal recognitions? Does the contract through the email, it is a valid contract, or it is a development of the second step, which we can say that the legal validity under the Indian Contract Act, which we have a domestic legislation. With regarding to that, we also going to be discuss about that what is the research and how they are part in the legal research. Is a theme of our international faculty development programs. It is talks about the new dimensions of the legal research. I hope you in the previous lectures, there are the various lectures supposed to be given on the how to do the legal research, what are the ways to conducting a legal research. I'm not going to talk about much more about that, but I just want to tell you very briefly, under the legal research, there's a relation between the law and the search. The term research, it may be referred for the many purpose. For example, there's gathering the informations and the facts and the advancement of the knowledge. Research can be done for the examination of specifically with regarding to legal investigations, what are the cases and how the studies of the injuries, compensation schemes. So these are the certain kind of the investigation which you do on the specifically with regarding to the law. You might be access the certain kind of examination of the facts. We can discuss about the legislations which are involved, what are the theories and the law are supposed to be practically examined. This is called the term search. The process of identification of a problem and the relevant facts and the logical order with the classification, and that's supposed to be collected and the classify the data, and this is the come with the conclusion that the research is a creative and systematic work which takes about the knowledge and the new applications of available or we can say existing knowledge. I give you an example. If I say that artificial intelligence are having various role in our legal sector, you might be done the research or the doing or planning to doing a research that what are the legislations are available relating to or per se relating to the artificial intelligence. You might be search about that how many laws are relating to the artificial intelligence. You might be look at about that whatever the US laws are talks about on the artificial intelligence. Thus, the US law are recognizing the term artificial intelligence, or the UK law is defined the artificial intelligence. There are certain kind of the legislations are there, and you collect the laws and examine that what are the relevant provisions, specifically in the era of the law and digitalization of the legislation. So this is one research you might be conducted as a target group. Target group here means when you talks about any specific legislations or a relevant legislation that might be your target group. For example, a social development use of children's and women on the Information Technological Act. Second example, effect of information technology on the age of under 18 children. If you're doing certain kind of the research, your target group is supposed to be the under 18 year of age group, where they discuss about what are the use and misuse of the legal of the artificial intelligence in this particular aspects. However, with regarding to the legislative perspective, we are not only talks about as per the academicians and as per the research scholar. If we look at that, the lawyers who are the practicing in the courts, they also doing a certain kind of the research in every day. For example, before a representing a case in the court, honorable court, they might be look at that particular facts, relevant case, dispute, and the cases which are favorable in your position and the cases which are against the opposite party situation. So they are doing a research and they're coming on at a particular solution or a adjudication a dispute with regarding to their experience and institution. However, as far as we are all are academicians, we also need to be done everyday life using the Manupatra, Westlaw, LexisNexis to look at the particular case laws, to look at the particular case laws, and we also update ourselves with regarding to new legal opinion, reasoning, and we expand the knowledge of the law. So there are certain kind of the challenges also we are having, whether these machines can be tell us that which law is relevant, which law is not relevant. But in the age of the AI, or in the age of information technology act, AI is a very, very earth-breaking steps in the legal industry or in the legal domain, because it was a very revolutionary step where the we seen the era of when the research and the typing was done through the typewriters to the computer. We are the using sitting in the library to prepare our a note or the research from the legal industry or internet-based domain. We also seen that from fax to email, and this is the how the technological developments are took place under the legal domain. So simply, if I can say that artificial intelligence, which is provide the clarity, simplicity, and effectiveness in resolving a multitude of legal problems by the researcher or by all of us. However, if you look at this particular image, what this image is giving a message. This image was talks about a machine which is developed by human being, and that machines are resolving a dispute of human beings. Please look at this image. This image was talks about a algorithm, machine learning, and the resolving and or adjudicating a dispute in the domain of the whatever the data analysis are done by this machine, that will be enhanced the particular on justice system. Let me give you one example so we can elaborate this particular concept here. I hope you are using the various travel agencies to with regard to booking a tickets and etc etc. Unfortunately, if your flights are missed or any other situations are done, now you are filing an application to the travel agency or the airlines company to refund their particular amount. So the travel agency saying that you please file an application through a particular app. They will tell you about your process. Now, very carefully, listen very carefully, because this is a very interesting part. The applications which are developed by an airlines, they will ask your PNR number. Suddenly the detail will be analyzed by the machine, and the machine will ask you the second question, how can I help you? Then you again submit that I want refund of my tickets because I missed my flight due to XYZ reason. Machines within a few seconds, the reply was given that this is your X amount you paid, this is the X amount you will be refunded, and this is the non-refundable amount. This whole calculations are done within the frictions of seconds, and they are analysis the data which you are given by the airlines company, the analysis of the data is the machine learning in such a way are developed by the airlines company. They are saying that this amount you are eligible for the refund. For example, 5,000 rupees your ticket was there, 3,000 rupees is the non-refundable amount, 250 or 300 rupees your convenience fees, and the tax amount supposed to be about the 800 or 900 rupees, including the GST and etc. etc. All calculation, how much you need to be paid and how much you need to be refunded about this particular amount. This is the data analysis are done by a particular software which he existence your how much money you paid and how much money you are eligible for the refund. Second question come, no, we are all are Indians, so we thought कि हमने 5,000 रुपए दिया है, आप हमको 800 rupees कैसे return कर रहे हैं? These questions might be arose. So the point is the convenience fees and the transaction fees, everything are they are in the not refundable amount. Then we file a case against the airline company. So the airline company said that whatever the classification of the amount which we are given to you, that is the as per the government of India airlines company's policy. So the policy saying that only the amount which are given, convenience fees are not given, etc., etc. So the ultimately the conclusion of this particular example is saying that the machine is already calculating the data as per the company policy followed by the government of India airlines regulation. So this is the first example. There are many other examples which we are having, and this is talks about how the machine learnings are performed. Let me tell you another example which might be very interesting one. I hope you've seen the various hospitals for an appointment in the during the or consulting the particular doctor. Thanks to COVID, at least we are aware about the technological developments and how we can use this particular technology. We know in the pandemic situations, we are not afford to go to the hospital and consult with the doctors. And if you require certain kind of the consultation, for example, the Fortis Hospital, they provide you some telecommunication services where you sit behind at your home, open your laptop or mobile devices, connect with the doctor, tell your problem, and they will answer you with regarding to certain prescription of the medicines are given to you. This is the how the artificial intelligence are developed. They read your data, your age, your weight, what are your disease, what are the possible solution, what might be the tests are required. Everything's are done and calculated in the systematic way, and the consulting with the doctor or telecommunication, and we are getting certain kind, we are avoiding to the going to the hospital on that particular time. So this is the how the technological developments are happened. But with regarding to the legal industry is one of the important aspects to we need to be look at about in the next slide, how the legal industry talks about. So you might be aware about certain kind of the questions I put in on behalf of you. Sir, what is the artificial intelligence and why should we care about it? We means we are the academician, we are the researcher, we are the lawyers, we are the judges. So it is all I'm targeting to the all legal industry as considered the word we. You might be think that this is how the artificial intelligence is work. I think I given the 2 and 3 examples and how the artificial intelligence do and how the lawyers are using the artificial intelligence in the legal industry and how the artificial intelligence affect the legal profession and how they are using for the legal research. So let me tell you one by one. So with the developments of the artificial intelligence, the first time the word was used in the 1956 by the John McCarthy. It is an American computer scientist and inventor. He was using the terms the artificial intelligence, and it was often to call the father of artificial intelligence. He was the scientist. He was using the computer algorithm and putting the command which is given by him, and the resulted whether it result is 100% or 90% or 80%. So the calculations and algorithms he used, he talks about the probability of the result. So artificial intelligence, it is an again we can say the ability of the computers to perform their tasks and required normally for the human intelligence, and it was giving the potential with help of the technological growth. However, to elaborate further, the goal of artificial intelligence are meet with the requirement of the daily and desire to automation of the machines learning and the using the human values. So the artificial intelligence are currently being used as a various legal sector, even though difficult tasks can be performed. What are the tasks and how the artificial intelligence are going to perform as a legal research? I will hold you for the few seconds, then I will jump upon this particular area. So simply we can say that the machines which are using certain kind of the algorithm and the machines are reaching at the solutions or a result, that results are used as a 100% accurate, correct, or any kind of the error-free results are given by the artificial intelligence. In the summary, we can say that the term artificial intelligence are used how the computer can perform their tasks normally, which required a human intelligence, such as the recognizing a speech and objective, making a decision based on the data, and the translating the languages. If you look at about in the 1987, because in the 1955 the terms was used, but in the 1987 there was international a conference was held on the artificial intelligence and the law of science, which was held at the University of the Boston in the United States. In this particular conference, they talks about the algorithm which used for the legal purpose and the legal science, and how the computer developments are took place in the US in the 1987. In the 1988, there was another conference was held in one of the paper which is published in the Harvard Law Journal, in the which is talks about that lawyers are most benefited in the domain of the legal research, because if they use the technological search, they might be getting a more result rather than the conventional search, which are usually done in the sitting in the library and the looking in the books and the searching a case laws. In the 1988, the first time the using the machines for the legal research, which is talks about the insolvency laws or the bankruptcy laws, which is the first domain where the calculation of the company's share thresholding limits and how the company's insolvency took place, whether the promoter and the shareholder rights are given, and how the calculations are, each and every calculation, each and every shares of the company's shareholder are determined by the help of the machine under the artificial intelligence. After this, in the 1991, the International Association of Artificial Intelligence was established, and they talks about the research and application about the artificial intelligence and the law. And it was an interdisciplinary research because artificial intelligence talks about the computer science, machine learning, legal research. They all are the interdisciplinary areas where they talks about the major artificial intelligence in the field of the legal application. Now, what is the outcome of this artificial intelligence? In 2016, the ROSE, it was the first artificial intelligence lawyer was developed by the IBM group, and which is talks about they are talks they discuss under the employed under the American law firm. It was a calculations are done by this artificial intelligence lawyer, and the giving the experience and the perspective of the employee whether they can be bankruptcy consultancy issues or not. Because in the 19 please keep in mind, in the 1980s to 1990, the US revolutions, especially with regarding to the computer science, was developed. Various companies have developed the various kind of software, and they are, for example, the travel applications app, for example Uber and Ola. Then they discuss about the train ticket facilities to the in the underways or subways. So in the US was the first time in the 1990 to the 1980 to 1999, where the laws are as well as the software developments are took place, and there are the various conferences are held on the taking care about the artificial intelligence in the legal research. In the UK also, the developed a one lawyer, again we can say the Robert lawyer, which is talks about do not pay. How this particular lawyer was representing in the court, because he was calculating the he was calculating behavior of the customer, how they're running the traffic, how they're running the vehicle, whether they eligible for any kind of tickets or not. So this particular app was giving if you are violating any kind of the traffic signal in the UK, the calculations was automatically done, and your history, past history, and your license number, your experience in the driving, everything is done, and he automatically put to penalty, and that penalty reach at home. So there is not a human being, or it is very less human interference in this particular machines. Next example, in 2018, again, they developed a law, Jax. It is an Israel legal technological company. He was developed such a contract review of this particular software. In this particular software, what happens? They develop in such a way that each and every terms, including the jurisdiction, governing law, dispute settlement mechanism, third party regulation, liability clause, everything are drafted in such a way that if we are using the parties name party A and party B, and they are doing a sale contract or goods contract or third tri-party agreements, everything is calculated by this particular software or this particular system. This is called the logics. So what happened? They are trying this particular software whether they are functioning or not. So they are putting a contract review computations from the different lawyer from the industry, and they putting computation, and the result of that, the law jacks, it was an artificial intelligence based system. He was drafted such a wonderful e-contract or the contract review where he mentioning each and every aspect of the contract. Again, if for that following footing, we also developed that okay, machines can be done as a human being such a way. So why not we started the main machines war in the domestic legal field? For that reasons, they were the why we required this, because the lawyers work with regarding to research, with regarding to facts finding, with regarding to legal advice and legal services. They need to be developed by the way of the machine. I'm going to be give you one example here. There was a lawyer who was consulting with the clients. So the client was a female, and the machines was asked a question: "Do you married or not?" She said yes. How? What about your age? What about your sex? What about your religions? So these questions are also feed in such a way that they might be a direct question or an indirect question. If you ask a direct question to a female, what about your sex and age, it is not comfortable to answering this kind of the question. So we also get certain kind of the challenges in the machine learning and the data analysis. In the 2017, it was a survey was taken by the American Bar Association, and they found that in the 16.3% of the work are conducting in the legal research. For example, the signing a single traditional hard copy material to the computerized database, adoption online research in the past few decades, and this was a very helpful steps in the legal domain where artificial intelligence are having a important role. Now, how the AI is function? I hope you understand the artificial intelligence function through the applications, through the mobile phone, through the machine, etc., etc. So my first point, which I want to make it here, is that I hope you've seen the movie of Avatar, and this is very, very, good movie in the history of the artificial intelligence, because they are first time using the video games under the algorithm, and which is talks about how they are representing the particular game. Through this developing the idea of the game, they are developed a movie in the 2009 which talks about the Avatar. Avatar is a classic example how the artificial intelligence are run and how the artificial intelligence are function. In the 2013 and 14, I hope you heard the name of the Elon Musk. He was the established a center for the on the artificial intelligence. He started the developing the program and the machine learning to classify the problems in the various machines. For example, the auto car, auto summative development program, auto computer deal, auto electronics agreements. So this kind of they are developing certain kind of the patterns, and they analyze the data and the machine learning, and they were objective of the center to resolve the problem in the various area, not only in the legal, but in the computer science, mechanical, technical, information, technological issues, everything's are done. Let me tell you one example here. In the state of Canada, there was a problem with regarding to airport machines. So when you check in the counter, the machines was not reading your data. Then maybe it is a problem with the human beings, because I may be not punching my device in the proper way, or maybe I not giving my disclosing the proper ID. That has happened with me or any other person. But after half an hour, we find that airport authorities are not denying anyone to the entry in the airport, because there was certain error in the functioning of this language. For that reasons, he was denying for everyone for the not entering in this particular things. So certain kind of the algorithm, sometimes error might be coming, and that error may be cause a huge kiosk at the airport. For that time, the Canada airport and the airport, they're losing about $60 million in one day with regarding for the non-functioning of this particular machine. So we can imagine that how we are depend on AI, and how AI cost us with regarding to perform their on accurate error-free data analysis through the machine learning. So what can AI do for us? So AI is a good is finding items, meet human define the criteria, detecting the pattern in the data, and the legal work which is can also be done through the help of AI, which is talks about the non-disclosure agreements. I just want to give you again one example on this. What can AI do? There was an agreement was drafted under the non-disclosure agreement. In this agreements, when the software was read the data, and the software was calculating the party's name, analyzing the pattern of the agreements, what is the nature, whether it is confidential informations, whether it is a patent informations, whether it is a non-sharing agreements, etc., etc. So the software, the AI software was tell us to the honor of the company, saying that this kind of agreements are feasibly to accepted or not, whether we should be entering into agreements or not. So the software itself solution was given that if you change in this kind of the clauses and put in the such a way that that might be in your favorable. So the suggestions of AI program, they also coming in such a way that that can be defined, or the in less interference of the human being, and they are giving a best solution for the terms and conditions to signing a particular agreement. Point number one. Point number two, the software will also tell you, or they will also inform you that when the last date of signing of this particular contract, which are the signatures are required. When the signature are required, software automatically send an email to the first party or second party. The email was reached. When they accepted this particular email, they automatically collect the signature. Again, they were putting a signature on this particular place in the non-disclosure agreement. They will also suggest you when is before the 6 month of the disclosing of this particular agreement, or when the contract supposed to be ended. 6 months prior, they will inform you that whether this we need to be continue this particular contract or not. If they need to continue this particular contract, he was automatically renew this particular contract, again send an email to both the parties for the signature and the prior approval. So this is the this is the first example which we talks about that how the artificial intelligence suggested to the human beings to what we need to be do and what we not need to be do under the age of the machine learning and etc. So this is the very interesting part here, where the AI failed to perform their duties, then failed to perform their calculations are wrong. Let me tell you one example. There was a one minor child. He was caught by the police on the basis of the information received by the computer machine, saying that this particular person was misusing certain kind of the law, or he may be cross certain kind of or commit any kind of the crime under the state law. Police was arrested. this particular minor child, and they are not able to perform the other duty because machines was not suggesting them. Point is, I hope you've seen the email where the database is required. I hope you also giving a registration for the FDP. So uh, I will take the questions after the end of my lecture. Okay, don't worry. Yes, please. I will take it. I will take it. Each and every questions I will take it. So the police officer was filling this particular online data. Have you arrested the particular person? Yes. What? Where you find this particular person? Give the address. Yes. So the next point is, if you are not clicking the all the information or the chart, you are not able to follow the next page guideline. Issue is here is that police saying that it is a minor. We are not able to filling the minor information because the computer was not generating the next page. If you're clicking and you need to be complete all the informations which is given in the one single page, if you are not able to complete this information, they will not give you the second option of the second page where the minor information is required. That time the first incidents was happened, and they think that, oh, this is the machines are failed to understand who is the major, who is the minor, what is the land, what is the valuable, what is non-valuable thing, because law is specifically clear about that. Law saying that if it is a minor, old age person, more than 65 years, there are certain different way to deal this kind of the person. But machine is not able to understand. Machine is not able to understand your emotions. Machine is not able to understand your what you think about this particular person. Machines only perform there on the basis of the data which you required and how these particular informations are fed in the machine, right? So for that reasons, the artificial intelligence are failed. For example, a family dispute, a land dispute. If the two brothers are having movable or immovable property, but the artificial intelligence are only know the word property, he does not know what is movable, what is immovable. Again, it was a very chaos in the machine learning language because the computer is does not aware about what is movable and what is immovable. So AI cannot perform the advocacy, negotiation, and restructuring or structuring the complex deal. Let me give an example with regarding to negotiation. Two parties are having a dispute, party A and party B. Both the parties are having a dispute, and they are trying to reaching an amicable solution under this particular agreement. Under the negotiation, one party claiming that we need 1 crore rupees as a compensation, other party saying that sorry sir, we are only offer you 50 lakh rupees plus next 5-year contract we are given to you only. This is the suggestion given by the two human beings, and machines was giving the suggestion saying that no, 80 lakhs में deal को final कर दीजिए. But the machines are not able to understand the human emotions. No, we are only afford to pay you 50 lakh rupees plus next 5-year terms contract to both the companies, and they will follow the quality maintained between the two companies. So sometimes my point is, in the negotiation deal where the instant communications are happens, instant communication suggestions was given, and the instant communication and suggestions and the solutions are not run and governed by the machine. It is only done by the human being. As I told you, IT have a advantage in our life, but there is other side of the coin which is talks about the dark side of the IT act. I will tell you what are the dark side, but before I'm completing this particular aspects. Now, the artificial intelligence are not able to appear in the court, and they are not able to do the cross examination and the witness examination, and they are not good in the type of creative writing in the Supreme Court judgments. In very briefly, let me tell you Alexa and Siri. I hope they are your best friend because every day we are saying Alexa play a song, Alexa do a call, Siri do a call, what is the weather, etc., etc. If you ask an Alexa the legal definition of the contract, what is the definition of the movable property, maybe they will not be answered such a way that it is defined under the BAR Act. But if you try them, okay, what is the weather, they will tell you each accurate detail of the whole day's weather. But you ask them, can I win this particular case in the court of the Supreme Court, in the High Court, or any place? He may not be able to answer this kind of question. It means what? Machines are not able to understand the human emotions, calculations, negotiation, advocacy, examination, briefing this particular case. So they all are disadvantaged of the technological issues. Now I coming back in the artificial intelligence in the legal research. So I hope you're able to getting a brief idea about how the artificial intelligence are having or importance with regarding to Indian legal system. Let me tell you about the our perspective where we can say that the Indian legal market is one of the biggest market of the legal where the global value is amount about to one uh, $1 billion each year. So this kind of the use legal developments are done in India. However, if you look at about the international conference are done at the Indian Law Institute in New Delhi in 2012, where the Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud held that and said that the technology is relevant insofar it is so faster efficiency, transparency, and objective is the public government. AI is present to provide a facilitative tools to just to order to recheck, evaluate the work and the process and the judgment. It means what? The High Court and the judges saying that technological developments may be able to provide certain kind of the calculations, evaluation, transparency, efficiency. Those are might be advantage of this particular industry, but if you talks about the nature of the judgment, how they are going to be, how many parties are there, which is the parties are on the wrong side, which of the parties are that respective causing a damages to the other parties. This kind of the analysis are supposed to be now developed by the various companies. I will give the example how these are the analysis are done. In 2018, the Ministry of the Commerce and Information Technology Industry, they constitute a artificial intelligence task force under the headed by the N. Chandrasekaran. It is the chairman of the Tata Sons. And the vision of this particular task force is to embed the AI in our economy, political and legal, though the possession that is systematic capability to support the goal of India becoming one of the leader in the AI-rich economy. So in the field of the legal research, lawyers can use the machine learning technology to get an unmatched insight in the legal world in the matter of the seconds. Let me give you one example. Sardul Amarchand Mangaldas, I hope you heard the name of because it is the first Asian biggest law firms. I was previously working there in the Kolkata and the Bangalore office. The Sardul Amarchand Mangaldas, it is a law firm. They are first firm in India which are using the Kira as a machine learning process. It is not a Kira, it is a Kira. Please keep in mind. So the Sardul Amarchand Mangaldas, it is becoming the first Indian law firm. They are practicing license the Kira as a machine learning program. It is developed by the in the base of the Canada. Let me tell you very briefly. This software was developed in the Canada, and the Canada have very rich knowledge center on the artificial intelligence. Then we have the US. The second state is the US, where the artificial intelligence are developed. So what is the use of this particular software and the license? It is an AI-based software which can handle a lot of things, which can be save a lot of times and effort. This particular technology are used to analyze the legal papers, locate it, potential dangerous error, extract provisions, and the various legal documents and authority they are also cited by the as per the Indian law. So this is the first in steps where the Indian legal industries are happily to accepted that, because if you look at the case law, if I say XYZ case law by in year of 1989, you might be not able to access. What we do, we just put the copy and paste in the Google. Google say go to the Manupatra. Manupatra say go to the username and password. Username password go to the registrar of the university. So this is the circle which we are having. So my point is, the Kira is a technology where if you put a single case law, 30 to 40 case laws in favorable your situation, various legal citation, documents, legislation, exact provision which is supposed to be applicable in your situation, everything is done by the in the friction of the second by the Kira, a machine learning software based. So the legal service market, one of the world largest, and the global value is 1 trillion, and at the same time it was under the digitalized. So it may be for the better, it may be for the worst, and the legal position, it is again the slow to accept the technologies, and the lawyers are still are easy and depending on the solution developed under a year age. So, with the growing the interest of the applying the artificial intelligence in the law, it is slowly transforming in the profession and the closing on the work paralegals, legal researcher, and litigation. So, artificial intelligence in the current legal application, there are following applications are there. For example, the helping to perform the due diligence and research, provision addition to the shortcuts to the analysis, and automatic creative, including some writing skill in the legal work. Let me tell you what about the due diligence report and the due diligence research. Whenever a company takes on the any kind of the restructuring, for example, in the way of merger, in way of amalgamation, or in the takeover code, these companies, before B company trying to acquire a company trying to acquire a B company, they need to be certain kind of the detail. We used to, when for example I am the landlord, one is the tenant, I will ask a few questions about the tenant. Kaun ho, kahan se aaye ho, what you do, where you live, what about your parents, which course you are studying, which university you are studying, etc, etc. Same things are happened when the company's restructuring took place in the form of the merger, acquisitions, or the takeover or control. The one company asked the other companies to talks about that, how the company's structure is, how many companies having a branches, how many turnover of the company is there, what is the nature of the business, where the subsidiaries companies are there, whether these subsidiary companies are located in Delhi, Gujarat, Maharashtra, or in the Kolkata, what are the nature of the business of the companies. So each and every information is required when we acquire or the take over the company on the control. It means what? When the one company buying another company, they need to be required certain kind of the research. That research is called due diligence report. Under the due diligence report, they talks about the IP property, they talks about the valuable property, they talks about the confidential information, they talks about the company share value in the market. Everything is done by the machine. So this is the where how the artificial intelligence are work. Coming on the next point, so the AI solution, it is offered for ability to automatically review the legal research, allowing judges to check their submissions, identify the missing precedents and authorities. It means what? This is the one authority who will examine that what are the information is correct, which is not relevant, which is relevant. As we know, Indian Evidence Act specifically talks about which is relevant, which is not relevant. And however, artificial intelligence is also defined that which provisions is relevant, which provisions is not relevant, whether the case cited by the lawyers is allowing to their particular in the favoring or not. So it's some, my point is the artificial intelligence, it is also help to the judges to examine the read the file. For example, the pages of the file is more than 2000 pages or the 250 pages. The machines can be, it might be having disadvantage for the reading this kind of the pages, but he may be provided certain solutions or in the summary manner that in this file this is the provisions are applicable, these are the authorities are cited, and this is the particular cases talks about. So again, it is based on the document automation and the large database which is assist to drafting and the analysis of the documents. So what are the developments on the innovative of artificial intelligence in the domain of the law? I am telling you the myopencourse.org. This is the first website what developed on the basis of the data and algorithms are given to draft a digital will. What is digital will? I just want to give you just one or two sentences about digital will. A particular persons are having two children. Both children are settled outside the India. Now he was in the age of the 75 years and he want to divide their own property, or he want to giving this particular property to any kind of a trust or any kind of the NGO. So he put a drafted a will help of this particular software. So this software will tell you to the how to draft a particular will, whether if the two sons are not coming, then where the properties goes. If one son is coming to this particular property, what about the legal rights are available to associate with this particular son? If there any kind of debt, tax, revenues are on this particular property or not, whether they paid the electricity bill or not. So it is talks about to drafting a automatic will which followed the essential points on this particular contract. So this is the first software are using the algorithm provision and provide the assisted to the digital will or the drafting digital will, and that will can be registered or under the law it is valid. Why it is valid? Because it is a contract between this particular organization and the person who are the drafting this particular bill. So when it is a contract between the, or we can say it is a e-contract. E-contract means the Bhagwan Das Kedia versus Amrit Lal and the Indian Contract Act, which is the first time it talks about the legal validity or legal admissible of the contract under the e-contract, followed with the Information Technological Act provision. So it is falling in the e-contract, and the contract means they are legally binding on the parties. And this is the first developments on the drafting or innovative with regarding to the digital will. Then he talks about the expert system, where is the applications are developed with regarding to calculation, factor of the weighting, or the other techniques are used where the reaching and the calculation of the mathematical formula or etc. they are also used. For example, self-driving car. This is the very interesting point here. Switzerland is the country where they are using this kind of the public transport vehicle. As I said, public transport means a lot of public liabilities occurred on your point. So the self-driving car, it is the best or worst. Let me tell you one example. What happened? Why I'm saying the worst and best. This car pick you up from your home, reach at the airport or your destination place. They save your time. They automatically take which is a shortcut to reach your destination. They automatically calculate the weather information. They will send you the message before the picking up. What is the weather casting outside? Where you reach? Which way we are going to be? This particular airport or any kind of the destination. Everything is done by the car itself, machine itself. When you book this particular car, all the information is given in your mobile phone. Now what happened? When you going inside the car, suddenly the heavy rain was there. Machine was not able to read the opposite side of the building, and that building was collapsed on the car, and you was died on the spot because car was not able to park there in a particular spot, or the car was not able to access the danger of this particular situation, because natural disaster can be happen anywhere, any place, anything. So वन हैंड वी हैविंग एडवांटेज, ओ कार आ रही है, इतने टाइम में आ जाएगी, हमारा सामान पैक हो गया है, बाहर का वेदर ऐसा है, अभी हम इतने मिनट्स में पहुंच जाएंगे. व्हेन यू सिट इन द कार, सडनली आफ्टर 2 or 3 minutes accidents are happened. It means what? We are having a risk assessment very used. It is a dangerous weapon to kill anybody. It is a dangerous weapon because it can be used as a weapon, and we cannot know what are the risk assessments are available with this particular thing, and the law is not providing that. If you are using the automation car and it will be cause an injury, who will be the liable? Where the liability supposed to be put? Liability supposed to be put on the car owner or the developer of the program or the machine learning who developed this particular language. So this is a very, very core area which we need to be looking answer with the legislative perspective, that where and to whom the liability is supposed to be given. So the artificial intelligence, we can say that they are gather the information, analyze and try to understand the information and make decision according to the information which is given inside this particular thing. So this is the a few steps which I thought that it may be very, very important to understand the application of artificial intelligence in the legal world. And for example, the due diligence, I only talks about that. Then the prognostic technology, where the legal investigations and agreements supposed to be evaluated by the artificial AI machine mechanism. Legal mechanisms, where they talks about what was the prior situation in this case, what is the present, and how this case was developed, how many evidence or witnesses are taken there, arguments, how many hearings are took place, everything they put a record on this particular machine. Then they have intellectual possessions. It talks about the intellectual property right, what is the date of filing your patent, what your priority date, what your eligibility of date, when the renovation of your license supposed to be done under the IPR, and what is the trademark about to end your after 10 years, whether you're filing a new kind of goods and services under the IPR. So everything is supposed to be calculated by this particular software. And the fifth point, which I said, the electronic receipt. This is very interesting part. I received invitation from the Starex University saying that, sir, we are inviting you on this particular purpose, kindly accept and acknowledge the same in the one sentence whether you are available or not. I am saying that I am available on this particular occasion, on this particular date. It means I am giving you the considerations and my offer, which I accepted. When they accepted, it is acknowledged and it is considered as a contract. And how the contract, because in the electronic world and the IT world, the contract need to be signed as a signature. Signature includes the electronic signature and digital signature and electronic receipt. As per the IT Act, Section 2D, Section E, and Section 3 and 4, which is specifically talks about under the Article 10 of Municipal Model Law or Article 10 of the Indian Contract Act, they all are talks about the legal validity of the Indian Contract Act, where they talks about the electronic receipt. It is also done automatically artificial intelligence. Sorry, someone asking something? Okay. So give me 10 minutes. I about to end. So this is the various system which is talks about the legal research through the artificial intelligence software and the AI and the machine learning. Kira system I already discussed. The Leverton, it is German-based institute that developed this particular program. And this particular program that talks about the hypothesis test, data analysis. One second. Hypothesis test, for example, null hypothesis. Specifically, these programs are used under the computer science research, where they analyze the data and they talks about that null hypothesis as well as the other hypothesis supposed to be proved or not. Sometimes they also read the language of the more than 20 languages the data, and whether the age group, whether the target group, use of this particular, every calculations are done with this particular software, and the software used for the on the basis of the AI information. For example, particular building allowances, company's employee salary, payable net, cost, date, everything in thousands of documents are done within the minutes of this particular software. So this software can be also used for the legal research, which is developed by the German Institute of Artificial Intelligence. Then we have eBravia. Again, it was a founder of the Need Gannon, and the co-founder is Adam Gwenin. They also talks about the contract review process, because the natural language, there are the different kind of languages where the contracts are signing and the drafting, so they are converted in this language, and the product such a kind of exact data and textual data, whether the legal documents are guided by the lawyer that this contract is talk about this way, because in respect to the different language, they may become on the particular specific uniform language, because they're having a language communications and the machine learning device. So that device was converted the language into the legal form, and we can understood this kind of the data. Then we have Coin. Coin is a sort for the contract intelligence, because they are able to extract the 150 contract from the 2000 commercial credit agreements in a few seconds, and what are the relevant points and what are the legal issues, which is the provisions supposed to be applicable, and which provisions and which companies deal with the what kind of this. It means what? This particular artificial intelligence software, it is talks about and develop a contract mechanism or the contract intelligence, where the all the matter with regarding to contract can be abstract, and they can file a suitable court petition in this particular aspect. Then we have a through the river application. It was again talks about the investigation purpose and the risk assessment purpose. Basically, again, I'm telling you the investigation means it is a part of due diligence report. It is not a criminal investigation which is done under the CRPC. It is investigation done through the electronic evidence, evidence, and the cyber crime, where the software, machine learning, hacking, phishing, data diddling, all these kinds of the crimes are happened. That time the investigations are supposed to be done, and the risk assessment is also developed by this particular software. And it was developed by the Cambridge University, where this software was using for the risk management or the investigation purpose. Then we have the logics. Again, it was a artificial based addition and approval and the machine learning, text analysis, statistical benchmarks, legal knowledge by the lawyer according to the company. Again, it was providing a legislative support by the logics. Then we have a Rose intelligence and the legal robot. Again, legal robot, again, it was talks about the jurisdictional, specifically the contract jurisdictional issues and which, for example, two country, one India and one Russia, and they have want to contract for this regarding arm license or arm agreement or the Rafale deal. So where the jurisdiction is supposed to be lies, which court and where we have jurisdiction, everything is done by this legal robot application form. Then we have various, this is a various kind of the developments which is tool which are used under the legal research. For example, the exterior, it is legal research collaborating with the software which talks about the company's threshold limit under the takeover code or acquisitions, whether the CCI also defined the limit, whether it was a turnover, annual turnover, yearly turnover, penalty supposed to be imposed, how much penalty they're supposed to pay. Everything is done under this particular, all are the legal search tool where they can use by the artificial intelligence. What about the present status? Present status is IBM. It is the first company. They are implementing the initial stage. It is a LexisNexis and Thomson Reuters with the using the artificial intelligence in the legal search. Law firm with regard to presently in across the globe, 11 law firms are using only basis of the artificial intelligence. Very less human interference was there. But we spoke about the Kira system implementation. It was the 4 firms, including the Ketan, Amarchand Mangaldas, Luthra, and SZB. They are also using the Kira system implementation, and they're using and resolving this kind of the dispute mechanism solution. So what are the challenges in AI, which are, I just want to tell you that it was not completely accepted by the legal professional because they are not happy with they are not used to with the machines learning, and it is required the professional trainings before you accessing the certain kind of information. When the training is required, then we said that, oh, this is FDP, it is online. Okay, no problem. We just log in and just sit back and relax, and end of the session we join it. So this is not happen with the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is required each and every information where it can analyze the data and the reaching a maximum and the very less human intervention. Then only you are able to access the accurate, effective, and dispute mechanism resolution supposed to be given by the artificial intelligence. Again, it was talks about the proper Data Information Technology Act, which is lake of data, and the definition of the data was very wide. If I put the data in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, whether data can be protected, it is a source code, it is a computer science language, it is an algorithm. So it was coming on the legal domain questions that whether this kind of the data or the legal language can be acceptable by the law or not. It was too costly. Let me tell you very important point. It is too costly, and we are having upcoming days the personal data protection bill. Again, this bill was not recognized. The term artificial intelligence, again, even though IT Act is not recognized, but there are a few provisions are dealing with this artificial intelligence. So I'm just putting my remark that we required a solid regulatory framework to clearly state the obligations and liabilities, because liability, it is very, very important part. If anything happen, if you're going in the Uber or you putting any kind of the less human interventions, who is the liability, which company, whether the software developer, whether the binary coding language, C++, etc. So the liability, it is very, very important part on this particular aspects. Then again, the accountability, it is again second part, which is also we need to be think about that if we're doing certain kind of the accountability where we have to be put. And third is very important, the privacy and the piracy, because piracy and privacy both are very, very important nowadays. Do you think that the Alexa is not recording your voice? Do you think your email, it is not recording by the Google Chrome your password? Don't you think that your confidential information sharing with the banking companies, it is not confidential? Do you think that your Aadhaar card is protected? I don't think so. I have plenty of example doing the various research on the cybercrime. There is not such a single information is protected under the law. Let me tell you, one of the IIT professor in IIT Kharagpur, he is lost your income, I mean, PAN card number in somewhere in the office. Next night, the whole account around 63 lakh rupees are gone, and finally he filed a case, and the case investigation done, and they find that all are done at the Dubai, some paralegal companies or some any freelancing companies are using their PAN card, and each and every information are accessed, including his signature and Aadhaar card number also. See the developments. See the crime under the IPC and CRPC, and they are totally different. They all are conventional crime. Now, if you want to kill anybody, just take it Aadhaar card and account number. Take your all the monies. He automatically died. So this is the how the nature of the crimes are happens with the advancement of the technology. Send an email, send a bug on the email, your whole laptop is blocked. Send in any kind of the viruses to the pen drive, you put your pen drive in your laptop, automatically it was blocked. And they're taking money. If you want to open your laptop, or you want to take back your laptop, just transfer this money account in this number, and they automatically they will remove the bug, and the machines work. So this kind of the new pattern, IPCM crime, it is defined, murder is defined, theft is defined, but how the online technological developments, whether these laws definitions are still applicable in 21st century in the form of digitalization era? No. I think we required amendments under the IT Act, where the crimes are developing each and every day with regarding to technological breakthrough. So this is my remark on this particular point, and thank you so much for the listening patiently. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for such an informative lecture. Hello, everyone. I am Vatsal Chaudhary, teaching associate from Starex University, and I'll be moderating the question answer session. Our first question has been asked by Ms. Divya Sharma. Her question is, it is generally said that AI is a double-edged sword as it lacks organic capacity to exercise due diligence. Despite of this, why there is a massive push for AI in the field of law?
Yes. Thank you so much for asking such wonderful question by Divya Sharma, because AI is giving you the option for the which direction you are going, whether it's correct or not. Point number one. Under the due diligence report, if you look at the company's turnover sheet, company's audit sheet, we are not able to access each and every information. Rather than putting the data into the machines, the machine will be tell you that this amount of the tax supposed to be given, this amount of the liability do you own by the other companies, this amount. So the point is, AI will give you the calculations where you can analysis of the company, whether you are afford to buy this company or not. Generally what happened, why we are pushing in the legal field, because certain kind of the bankruptcy and insolvency act, certain kind of the restructuring takeover code, where there is companies use turnover was need to be calculated. We also talks about how much the banking companies are involving the NPAs or NPS funds in this particular aspect. So that reason we need to be examine that how the law is supposed to be addressed by the machine. So that calculation is supposed to be error free. It's supposed to be accurate. For that reasons, it is required in the field of the law, the AI, which might be assist you not reaching as a maximum solution. As I told you in the remark section, we are having a challenges. We are not, the machines were not able to doing the negotiation deal. One party giving the negotiation deal on the money compensation schemes. Still, I am saying that it is not accurate formula. It is not accurate results, but it may be assist you to reach at the amicable settlement between the two parties where they want to go, where they do not want to go. As a Kira software, as I told you, it was used by the Sadhana Merchant Mangaldas. They are only talks about that how many case laws are there, which is the favorable situation in that particular aspects, what are the outcome of this particular case, whether they want to take this case as a litigation or not, whether the maximum solution supposed to be achieved on this particular aspects or not. So the software will tell you the possibility. I'm not saying that it is a solution. It is only talks about the possibility to reach at this particular solution. For that reason, reaching this particular solution, it is again was a very helpful for the AI system. Again, I just want to make a remark. What happens? We are human beings. We made a machine. We made a Uber. We made a Ola. We made a Make My Trip. So many applications are done. What is the situation? Situation is now the machines are run by the human beings. We say turn, take, left, right, straight. So now the machines are run by the human beings, not human beings are run by the machines. So this is how the applicability of the Information Technological Act, and where the legal liability is there. I just want to take another one example. There was a blind person, especially able person, he using the mobile phone, and the mobile phone saying that you go to the Delhi University. In the yesterday's episode was I'm telling to you, he said that go to the estate, there was a no traffic jam is there. But when he took a step, he was fall in the water, in the raining water. Machine is not able to tell him that यहाँ पे पानी भरा हुआ, आप take right, take left. He was only the accessing the information, what is machines, the data was given to the machines, and machine is not able to calculate that whether it is used for the blind person or normal person, right? So as I told you, it is not a solution. It is only the alternative option to reach at the particular solution. Yes. Sir, you are not audible for me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
So, next question has been asked by Ms. Meenakshi. Her question is, there is a growing demand to employ AI in judicial system.
Yes.
Do you agree with this demand?
Yes, I agree that judicially only with regarding to the investigation, calculation, or a possible settlement mechanism, where, as I told you, judges can also be used this AI, where they can discuss about what is the relevant fact, what is the cause of the dispute, which is the legal provision supposed to be applicable, how many laws are involved. So they also be help to the judges, lawyers, legal researcher, companies, etc., etc. But problem is that if what information you build this particular application, it will be again, there is a question of determination and the question of eligibility, whether the information given or the result and option given by the machine, it is correct or not. So again, let me tell you very important point. The solution might become with the machines, but human intervention is supposed to be required. If we rely on totally on the machine, that will be not a good objective and the sound reasoning. Let me give you again one example. This very good question she asked. The point is, there was a software was developed. For example, we have watch, we already seen. This watch was calculate your heartbeat, calculate your oxygen level, calculate, record your data, where you going, कहाँ जा रहे हो, कहाँ नहीं जा रहे हो. आपको लग रहा होगा कि किसी को पता नहीं है, पर मुझे लग रहा है आप कहाँ जा रहे हो, कहाँ नहीं जा रहे हो. I can record each and everything about your everything. So the point is, if I suddenly my heart rate was lower the limit, or I can say that my heart was below the existing limit. Suddenly, the machines was read my data. They send a data to the nearest hospital. Hospital read the data, immediately they read your location. Immediately you receive the ambulance, and they will catch you and admit it in the hospital. This is the advantage of this your technical development. But again, I'm saying what is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is हो सकता है कोई मेरी मशीन का वायरस इसमें आ गया हो और जानबूझकर मेरी हार्ट रेट इंक्रीज कर दिया हो. मैं पार्टी कर रहा हूं, वहां पे एक एम्बुलेंस आ रही है जहां मुझे जबरदस्ती उठाया जा रहा है और मुझे हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट कराया जा रहा है. क्यों? बिकॉज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द डेटा व्हिच इज मशीन्स वाज गिवन. सो दैट वाज अगेन द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एंड देयर वाज अगेन द reliability of the informations was again the question mark. Yeah, please, next question.
The next question has been asked by Mr. Dinesh Kumar. His question is how to determine the criminal liability
Again,
of offense of a robotic machine.
Yes. Again, so basically the robotic machines are developed by the two way. One is the algorithm, second one is the language, third one is the coding and the source code and the objective code. Under the Information Technological Act, we define the term source code, where the source code is putting A plus B is equal to C. So the source code and object code are governed under the Information Technological Act. Under the unilateral model law of e-commerce, they also govern certain kind of the source code definitions. Again, it was putting a question mark there. Who is on the liability? Whether the software developer, whether the language developer, or whether the company itself, those who are manufacturing the robot. Point is, if you see in your iPhone box written on specifically made in California, assembled in China, sold in India. Again, question is the liability. If anything is defective parts, anything is defective, it is not functioning according to your command, then who and which company? Of course, we know that the iPhone company, we can file a suit, but no, iPhone company again transfer the case where it was manufactured. So the liability again putting on those who are manufacturer say that मैंने तो सही से बनाया था, assemble में mistake हो गया, then they transfer the case to the China, because China was the basic hub of the assembling of the particular product. So this kind of again the criminal liability is very good, and the remarkable research supposed to be required with regarding to putting a liability, because civil liability and the criminal liability under the Information Technological Act, where the theft, hacking, data diddling, or any kind of the crime against the children's, women's. So if you look at the COVID-19 situations, I can see the lot of example. I receive a lot of cases from the IITs, IIM, said this kind of online harassments are took place, online this kind of took place, message, misuse of the email IDs, misuse of the contact number on the online database. Again, there is a question of liability. If I taking classes in Delhi University, if the data is with me, so I will be liable, or Delhi University is supposed to be liable. If anything episode was happened, the liability is particularly important part. But under the robotic mechanism, I just want to clarify to you, it right now, the prevailing the legal mechanisms talks about those company who are the manufacturer, and they have to be compliance with the international legislative requirements, or if they pass this particular test, then only they're putting a criminal liability on this particular aspects. Yeah, now.
So our next question has been asked by Mr. Nitesh Kashyap. His question is, how close we are to achieve artificial intelligence in the field of law?
Yeah, we are too far, not too close, but we are too far from the AI, because India is developing state. As you look at my first slide, 1955 in US, the term was already originated. 1988, that's why I'm putting the year. In the 1988, the first time the conference was held, computer science and the law science. 1989, second conference was happened at the Boston and the University of the Cambridge. And we are 2012 and 14, we started, oh, हम तो ऑनलाइन कैब भी बुक कर सकते हैं. वो उन्होंने 1980 में करके छोड़ दिया. That was the old one. 2000 में हम कह रहे हैं कि अच्छा ऑनलाइन कैब से भी जा सकते हैं, हम ऑनलाइन टिकट भी बुक कर सकते हैं. So we are too far away from the artificial intelligence actually, but still we are developing, we are following the footing of the US and the UK laws and the development, because India recently signed agreements by the government of India and the government of Israel, because Israel having a very heavy information technological database system. We also having a deal with the Russian country, where we are having the development programs. I visited there in the Russia for the 2016 for the exchange of information and technological advancement scheme between the two countries. So we are putting the following the US and the UK, but still we are very lagging behind. अब प्रॉब्लम ये है ना कि टेक्नोलॉजी आ भी जाएगा तो हम उसको यूज नहीं कर सकते. हमको क्या है कि आप फोक से पराठा खाइए, खा सकते हैं क्या? नहीं खा सकते. जब तक हम हार्ट को टच नहीं करेंगे मजा नहीं आएगा. सेम थिंग्स आर हैपन विद द टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट. It used to take a time to develop and involve in our daily life, but again we are far away from the US and UK, but we are again stable following the UK and US footing laws. Yeah.
Sir, Amit Kumar has asked, sir, kindly shed light on the issue of violation of fundamental rights.
See, the constitutional aspects with regarding to fundamental right and the privacy, I'm not going to be answer this question, but I will definitely share you my PPT. In the PPT, I will mention one article with regarding to fundamental right, where I discuss about the Puttaswamy judgment in the Supreme Court, which was challenged by the Supreme Court under Section 47A, Section 44A of the Information Technological Act. That I will be sharing for the reference of the reading. No problem.
So those were some great responses.
Okay.
Now I invite Ms. Vaswa Sharma for vote of thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Over to you, Ms. Vaswa.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vatsal, sir. And thanks a lot, Dinesh, sir, for this wonderful session and your precious time to make this session successful. You very interestingly explained the topic role of artificial intelligence in legal research. You have given various examples of Alexa, e-contracts, self-driving cars, and various other major issues which are relevant in today's world of digitalization, including challenges in artificial intelligence in law. So, on the behalf of all the participants and Team Starex University Gurugram, we are very much thankful to you, sir, for such a knowledgeable and enlightening session. Thanks a lot, Dinesh sir, once again. And all the participants are requested to see to fill up the feedback form, which will be shared in the chat box. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you so much for having here. Thank you for organizing, Dr. R.Prerna and the Vasma ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.